Okay, so we are on 9.3, which would be perimeters and areas of composite figures. Our learning goal is I can find the areas and perimeters of shapes that make up composite figures. So for the warm-up, I want you to find the area and the perimeter of each of the following shapes. Remember, the perimeter is when you add up all the sides, and then the area for a rectangle is your length times width. And then your area for a triangle is your 1/2 your length or your base times your height. And then the perimeter for a circle we call circumference, and that is diameter times 5, and then area equals your radius times, or radius squared, 5. And so hopefully that helps you on your warm up. I want you to pause the video, complete the warm up, and then check your answers with mine. Okay, so for the first one, the area is length times width, so that's 4 times 6, and you get 24 centimeters squared, and that centimeters squared just tells you that we found the area. And that's because we multiplied 2 centimeters together. That's all that is. Perimeter is adding up all the sides, and so if this side is 4, that means this side is also 4. And if this bottom is 6, that means the top is also 6. So 4 plus 4 plus 6 plus 6 equals 20 centimeters. For the second one, the triangle, our base is 3. Oops, I don't know what just happened there. Our base is 3 and our height is 4, so we have 1/2, 3 times 4. So 3 times 4 is 12, and half of 12 is 6. Our perimeter is just adding them all up, so we have 3 plus 4 plus 5, which gives us 12 centimeters. For our circle, the area is our radius squared, so that's our radius, remember, is half of our diameter. So our radius is 3, because half of 6 is 3. So 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3.14 is 28.26. And then our perimeter is just our circumference, so that is our diameter times pi, so that's 6 times 3.14, and we get 18.84. So we learned last class how to find the area of a circle. So this first part right here was 9.2, and then our perimeter or our circumference was 9.1. All right, so now we're going to find the area of composite figures. And a composite figure is made up of triangles, squares, rectangles, circles, semicircles, and any other two-dimensional figures. So you can see that we have this trapezoid, which is just a square with a rectangle on the side. And then we have a rectangle with a semicircle on the top. So that's what we're finding the perimeter and the area of today. And so to find the perimeter, you're going to find the distance around the shape. And then to find the area, we find the area of one shape. So we're going to separate it into two different shapes. So we separated the triangle, and then we separated it into the square, and we're going to add those two areas together. So it's not too difficult. It's just taking some things that we learned in 6th grade and some things that we learned last class and adding them together. So first, let's start off with estimating. And so to estimate, this does not have to be exact. And so you're going to see actually that we aren't going to get a precise answer, but that's okay. So when we estimate the distance around, we have to note that one box is obviously going to be 1, but the distance from a corner to another corner, so diagonal, is a little bit more than 1. And you can see that this line that I just drew here is actually longer than my line that was considered 1 box. And so we're going to actually call that like 1.5 if it goes diagonal. So I'm going to go all the way around. So this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I have to go down one box, so that's going to be 8. And now I'm going diagonal. So this is going to be a 1.5, and we're going to add those later at the end. So these are all 1.5s. And now I'm going to pick back up at my 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have 14, so this is for my perimeter. And remember, that's the distance around. And so I had 14 full squares. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 diagonal boxes. So plus 1.54 times. And so we get 14. Oops, this won't clear. So we have 14 plus 1.5 4 times. So I'm going to estimate that my perimeter is 20. Now again, it doesn't have to be exact. This is just an estimation. Then my area, so that means that if an estimation just has to be close to it, if that makes sense. My area is trying to figure out how many boxes are colored in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this. And let me use a different color for you. So I'm splitting it. So that way I have a giant rectangle. And so I have 2 boxes on this side and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes on this side. So I'm going to do 2 times 5 because the area of a rectangle is length times width. So 2 times 5 would give me 10. I also can just count those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 boxes in there. Plus 2 boxes here inside my arrow. Plus, and we know that if it's going diagonal, this half would match with this half. My computer is messing up. So that makes 1 box. And then this box and this box also would make a full box. So I'm going to add 1 more to that. And so my area, I'm going to guess or estimate, is 10 plus 2 is 12, 13, 14. So I think that my area is 14. So that's all we're doing for estimating area and perimeter. So I'm going to have you guys do this one on your own, and then you're going to check your answer with mine. You can do this many different ways. So how I chose to cut up my boxes does not have to be the same way that you chose to cut yours up. So first we're going to start with the black. That's my perimeter. So I went through and I counted each of my whole numbers. So I had 1, 2, my 3 through 7, 8, 9, and then 10, 11, and then 12 through 16 here. And so that's where I got my 16. And then my 10 came from, I had 10, oops, maybe, I had 10 of these little 1.5s. So I did 10 times 1.5, which gives me 15. So 16 plus 15 gave me 31. Now, if yours is not exactly 31, that is okay. It's just an estimate. And then my area, I cut up the big box and I did 3 times 8, which is 24. You could also count 24 boxes in there. Plus, and then my little green color, I have a bunch of green circles on here. That is me just counting individually. So each little circle was just 1, and so that's where I got 22. I have 22 little circles. And then you'll see these like weird little half C's. Those are me connecting 2 boxes together, so 2 of my halves. So I had 5 times I had to make those 2 little C's. And so when I added those all up, I got 51. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly like mine because it's just an estimate. But now down here, this is where it's going to actually turn into you finding the exact perimeter. So you can see I have the steps. So step 1, what shape shapes are the figure made of. So you can see we have a half circle and we have a triangle. So I'm just going to draw a half circle and then I'm going to draw a triangle. So find the distance around the triangle. So this is for perimeter. So my distance around my triangle, all I care about is going around my shape. So do I ever cross this dotted line? No. So if I started here and I had to walk all the way around and then end up in my same spot, I never cross that dotted line. So I'm just going to do 8 plus 6, and that gives me 14. Now find the distance around the semicircle. So remember that's our diameter times pi. So my diameter is that dotted line because that's the half of my circle. Because if I continued this circle on this side, that would be the middle. So I have P equals 10 times 3.14. And so that gives me 31.4. But it's a half of a circle, so I need to divide this by 2. So just to show you, 3.14 times 10 gives me 31.4, divide by 2, and I get 15.7. So now I'm going to add them together. So 14 plus 15.7 is 29.7. Uh-oh. This just does not want to make a video today. So this is 29.7. And that's all you have to do for perimeter. So we're just cutting the shapes up. So now we need to find the area. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So the base is 6 and the height is 8. And so we're going to do 1/2 plus 6, height is 8. And so 6 times 8 is 48. And we're going to do 1/2 of that. So half of 20, or half of 48 is 24. So that's the area of my triangle. So now we need to find the area of a semicircle. So this is pi, which is 3.14, times our radius squared. Now remember, our diameter equals 10, but we need half of the diameter to be our radius. So we get 5. So we're going to do 5 squared, which means we're going to do 5 times 5 times 3.14. And then we have to divide it by 2 because it is a half circle. So 39.25. And so now we have to add those up. So now we're going to do 39.25 plus 24. And we get 63.25. Or sorry, yeah, 63.25 is our area. So you're going to give it a try, and then you're going to check your answers with mine. Okay, for perimeter, we're going around the shape. So we're only touching the half circles, and so we do a circle, which is the circumference, which is diameter times pi. So just across the circle, which is 2. So 2 times 3.14 gives us 6.28. And then we divide by 2, and we get 3.14, and that's because it's a half circle, not a whole circle. And then you'll notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4 half circles. So you do 4 times 3.14, and you get 12.56. And then that gives you your answer. You also could have done 3.14 plus 3.14 plus 3.14 plus 3.14, and that will give you the same thing. Our area, you'll notice that there's a square in the middle, and so we do 2 because that's our diameter on both sides. So 2 times 2 is 4, and so that's where my area of my square is. And then we have a half circle, so we're going to do pi r squared. Remember, our r is half of our diameter, so 2 divided by 2 is 1, so r is 1. 3.14 times 1 is 3.14. Divide by 2 is 1.56. We have 4 half circles, so 4 times 1.57 is 6.28. And then we add that to our 4, so 4 plus 6.28 equals 10.28. and that is our answer for our area.